Hey fun fans, Nick Jr. back here again from Michigan, and we're going to be taking a look at our 5th edition of our technical season updates of this year's game, Rapid React. Just a reminder that this is not an official ruling, and to consult the first manual as well as the FRC Q&A for any further questions and their necessary forms. Today we're going to be taking a look at team updates 9 and 10 that have been released this past week. Then we're also going to take a look at 5 Q&A questions that have been released this past week as well that we think are important for your team to know and to ensure that your robot is legal in the upcoming weeks here in competition. Very few short weeks here coming up until teams start competing. Special thanks to crew member Tausif again for the help on finding these Q&A questions. Championship allocation changes, judged awards for small events, and a note about inspection coming up on this edition of FRC Updates Now.
Your destination for first content, updates, and gaming.
Welcome to the fun.
Get ready to celebrate your Rapid React build season with Premiere Night on Saturday, February 26th at 6 p.m. Eastern at twitch.tv/First Updates Now. This year, no matter where you are in creating your robot, submit a 90-second or less video celebrating your build season to Premiere Night. This could be your completed robot, prototypes, testing, or anything you want to highlight about your team to the FRC community. Submissions are due by the end of Thursday, February 24th, and you can get more details on any fun social channel or at firstupdatesnow.com/premiere22.
Before we take a look at our technical updates, I think something else that's pretty important to point out is a thread on Chief Delphi that mainly has been posted with a response from John Jack, who's a Vex Robotics engineer, but regarding people having some issues with Falcons again, the Falcon 500 motor, and essentially John had posted on Chief Delphi that people have been reaching out to Vex with issues regarding Loctite on the shaft screws as well as washer or shim that need to be on the shaft of the motor. And John noted that there appears to be another issue with shaft screws having an inadequate amount or no Loctite at all. And he said that it appears that roughly 10% of the Falcons that have been shipped out also do not have the shaft shim instead. So it's important if you have your Falcon 500s and are familiar with Chief Delphi. I highly recommend taking a look at this post. John really gave us a really detailed description here of what's going on and what we need to do. Furthermore, he did say that if you have a motor that you purchased from June 2021 until present, that it's really important that you inspect the motors for the shafts and the presence of the shaft shim in that. So what this document that he's noted is the Falcon V2 upgrade, which was released about a couple months ago, that if you had purchased a Falcon between this time frame, this is what you needed to do. And this is essentially the same thing. So it's to remove these screws and implement Loctite on the specific shaft screw, as well as ensure that the shim is placed properly. This is the main screw that it's talking about here. This is the screws that are not having Loctite. That's what we're seeing here. So if you have a Falcon 500 and haven't had the chance to do that yet, highly recommend you take apart your Falcons and Loctite those screws and make sure the shaft shim is there. I know that if you don't do this and the shaft screw does back out, it will be fatal to the motor and will cause the motor to lock up. So extremely important that you take a look at it in this sense. Also credit to John Jack and the Vex Pro community for getting right on top of this, as well as CTR. Getting right on top of this immediately and trying to right the issue that's been created. So thanks to them. Let's take a look at Team Update 9. Something important that first noted here is that judged awards at small events, and looking into single day events and how there might be some events that may have 24 teams or less even at that event. So in a typical First Robotics competition official event, 15 judged teams or team awards are presented. That first thinks it's an appropriate number, and it allows a decent percentage of teams to be celebrated for their accomplishments and keeps awards special and valued. This season, they've noted obviously there's a few multi-day events that are smaller than we're seeing during a normal season, and they think that to give out the full set of the 15 judged awards at these events devalues the awards and makes it harder to match individual awards with deserving teams. So they noted that for this reason, any multi-day event, so such as a district that's Friday, Saturday, or a regional, that is fewer than 24 teams, or 24 teams or fewer, will be presented the Chairman's Award, the Engineering Inspiration Award, and 6 additional awards selected by the event judges to best fit participating teams. So Dean's List and Woody Flowers are not affected. This approach also does not apply to single-day events. Important to note there. But essentially, the Chairman's Award, the Engineering Inspiration Award will both be awarded, and then 6 additional awards, so anything from Innovation and Control or the Entrepreneurship Award, anything of those awards, 6 additional awards from that category will then be selected. Furthermore, also something very important, that the first championship district allocation adjustments have happened, and noting that since kickoff to now, there have been a couple different team allotments within those, and some districts some districts would be unfairly under or overrepresented if they kept it the way it was. So important to note that First in Michigan is now up to 64 championship slots, 4 Chairman's Awards winners, and 11 Dean's List finalists at the Michigan State Championship. Ontario is down to 11 First Championship slots from 16, down to 1 Chairman's Award winner, and down to 2 Dean's List finalists. First in Texas is now up to 23 championship allotments from 21, 3 Chairman's Awards from 2, and they're staying at 4 Dean's List semifinalists. The Peachtree District also is up 1 more slot from 10 to 9. The Chairman's Award stays the same, as well as the Dean's List Award. So good to note that First has changed a couple of these allotments and trying to assist some teams as well. Remote judging plans. Another team has been added to the remote interviews, the Southern Cross Regional. So again, if you are participating in that regional, please make sure to check your email and be prepared from the judges that you will be doing remote judging for that event. Just a couple of grammar notes here in the 6-6 of the drive team, just making sure that it's a non-student. Only 1 member is permitted to be a non-student of the drive team, and that reflects that as well. Team Update 10, to note that Central Illinois Regional has also been added to the remote judging plan. So as stated previously, if you are attending this event, please make sure to watch out for information about remote judging for that specific event. Grammar change in H101 under 8.1 General. All teams must be civil toward everyone and respectful of team and event equipment instead of just the previous reading. They've also noted that you are not allowed to use cargo as a projectile and attempt to inhibit an opponent's robot. So noted as the dodgeball Q&A that was released over a past couple weeks ago that was getting a lot of traction on Chief Delphi. You cannot use cargo as a projectile, and it will be in violation of this rule. R710 is just noting that the MXP device used to control actuators is also within that specific modifications to control system devices permitted. And then kind of a big one here, a section added about inspection eligibility rules. So if you've been watching Chief Delphi, there's been a very large thread about inspection etiquette and kind of the, not stigma, but the surrounding of the robot inspection. And I just wanted to give a credit to Al and forgive me the other fellow's name, but the 2 lead robot inspectors in the first robotics competition really have been very supportive and answering questions on that thread. So in this thread, or in this team update, something important has been added, noting that the inspection process may progress in blocks. For example, it may pause for a team's practice match, slot on the practice field, and lunch break. This process may employ various inspectors throughout the process based on availability. At a team's discretion, they may request a different inspector or invite the lead robot inspector to participate in their robot's inspection. So teams, do not be afraid to ask for a different inspector if something's going wrong, or if you would like a second opinion. That is your right for that part. You are allowed to ask for the lead robot inspector for a clarification or anything on that sense. So please do not be afraid to ask for that help if needed. One thing I also wanted to add in here is that on February 10th, First actually released what the audience displays are going to look like this year. I think that's important to point out. Preview screen looks pretty similar to what it has the past 2 years with the Rapid React logo. Team avatars are also back, so if you haven't had the chance to do that, please take a look at the blog post about team avatars. I think that's something that is really cool, that gives your team a little bit more personalization to the match preview screen. I think it's one of the cooler things that has been added in the past previous years. So This is what the real life scoring is going to look like at the bottom of the webcast. Kudos to First for just making something simple. I really like how it's just extremely simple. There's nothing crazy about it, and it's easy to read. Don't really like the gold background behind it, but for the most part, this is something really simplified, and I really like this screen here. And then match results screen, similar to what it has been in the previous past in that sense. But again, team avatars, pretty cool. Check it out. Moving to the Q&A, first question being question 87, asked by FRC 2075. Can the Rev Mini Power Module be used on an FRC robot in conjunction with the Rev PDH? If the Rev Mini Power Module is allowed, can channels be used for motor controllers expected to draw less than 15 amps? The answer by the GDC is we cannot comment on specific part legality. The Rev Mini Power Module is not a component listed in R710 and is therefore a custom circuit, and all rules relating to custom circuits apply, including R625, which prohibits the specific scenario that has been described here. So important to note that if you're using the Rev Mini Power Module, it is considered a custom circuit. Moving forward, question 93, asked by FRC 1700. In past events, they've encountered situations where teams have trouble complying with rules like H305 due to having very few team members at the event or from being otherwise overwhelmed. Section 6.6 mentions that for the purpose of gracious professionalism, teams can loan out their members to other teams to act as part of their drive team. If the team involved agree to it, can this team member loaning mechanism be used for purposes of complying with H305? The answer from the GDC was a drive team member that is participating with the team due to extenuating circumstances, as described in the first blue box of section 6.6, meets the definition of drive team and would satisfy H305. So for this specific scenario, yes, you would be allowed those certain team members in that sense to comply with H305. Last question here, question 103. Is 3 years equal to 36 months or prior 3 seasons years? And this is directly related to the Chairman's Award. I know that this specific question has brought a lot of attention on Chief Delphi. You know, what is really defined 3 months? Is it 36 months from the day you present? Is it 3 previous seasons? Is it 3 calendar years? And that's really not something that's been clear here. So FRC 3786 asks, Chairman's Awards directs teams to focus on accomplishments within the last 3 years. Is that intended to be the last 3 seasons or the 36 months prior to submitting the award? An example, if an event occurred during the preseason of 2019, 9/2018, or 40 months prior to the submission, should it be considered in the accomplishments in the last 3 years? The GDC replied with, there is no hard limit on a time frame for what should be included in the information submitted or presented to the judges for the Chairman's Award. As noted in some of the questions on the submitted awards page, many suggest to focus on events and activities that happened within the past 3 years. So it's not required that you do just the 3 years, but it's extremely suggested that you try to stick within the past 3 years. GDC noted that it is up to your team to decide what components are most relevant for your chairman's submission. So again, those are 3 Q&As that we thought were extremely important for you to know. I thought the audience display was important to show because not everybody follows the FRC blog closely, so I thought that was important to share as well. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to comment below in the YouTube chat, and I will be sure to reply to you. Again, this is not official, so if you have any official questions, please reach out to the FRC Q&A community and do that through the proper FRC Q&A program, and ensure to get those questions asked for you. Moving forward again, we'll be continuing this for the next weeks to come as the team updates come out. And if there's, like I said, any questions, please feel free to reach out. So signing off, Nick for FRC Updates Now.
Get ready to celebrate your Rapid React build season with Premiere Night on Saturday, February 26th at 6 p.m. Eastern at twitch.tv/First Updates Now. This year, no matter where you are in creating your robot, submit a 90-second or less video celebrating your build season to Premiere Night. This could be your completed robot, prototypes, testing, or anything you want to highlight about your team to the FRC community. Submissions are due by the end of Thursday, February 24th, and you can get more details on any fun social channel or at firstupdatesnow.com/premiere22. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to stay up to date on our new videos. Keep the conversation going and provide your input to our content. Watch our live shows at twitch.tv/firstupdatesnow. Join our Discord at discord.gg/firstupdatesnow and check out Fun FTC on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and First Updates Now on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter.